But we can renegotiate that contract in 2026. What we'd like to look at, what we should look at, is more residential patrolling of the individual residential neighborhoods and focus our attention on that. And why should we do that? Because small crime starts with vandalism, graffiti, and that type of thing, and grows gradually. If we have patrols in the neighborhoods as a regular routine, some of that can be held down, and we can keep it the safe, great community we have here in Fountain Hills. We should always look at, I'm not saying I want to go there, but we should always keep in our back pocket the possibility of our own police department. There are other towns looking at this. We should study it. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying it's an option. So those are the options and possibilities, and I would encourage everyone to take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilmember McGinn.
Thank you. Are you aware that we live in one of the safest communities nationwide and throughout Arizona? Captain Cratcher reports and provides us with criminal reports every month. And we have a very, very low crime rate. And I don't think it's appropriate to make that up or make a problem that doesn't exist. As for our Maricopa County safety contract, I worked on that. We are getting a $600,000 reimbursement. In fact, we recently just received $300,000 of it. We have services we don't pay for. We have helicopter teams, SWAT teams that we don't pay for, and rescue teams. We also have dedicated officer that helps the sheriffs out when they need help with people, mental health people, so that they can help them find a place to live or go for their safety and not be arrested instead. And look at our fire department. We just brought in a brand new dedicated fire department, and they are also contributing to our safety. We just had a fire, an Ashbrook fire. They put it out within an hour. I would say that with these combined services, that we are one of the safest communities to live in. And I want to thank them and our emergency responders for making it that way so that we can feel safe no matter where we go around town. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, Rick Watts.
First, I think I want to acknowledge that the MCSO really does do a good job. And we are one of the safest communities in the state, if not the country. Where I think the failing is in our ability to negotiate contracts. I think that our leadership let us down. We've had a 65% increase in the base price from 2018 till today, when the consumer price index only went up by 24%, just south of 25%. So I don't understand that. The services have actually been reduced a bit, but I think what we really need to do is have better communication with the Sheriff's Department, with Captain Krantz, to say, how can we establish baseline KPIs? And then also, on the other side, not only do we want to measure their key performance indexes, but we also want to have some inducements for them to improve. So we have MBOs, management by objectives. We establish those, we have good communication, we have monthly communication with them, and we have good negotiators to negotiate the next contract, because this contract was not negotiated well, and we're now paying the price for that. But I will not disparage the Sheriff's Office, because they do a good job, and I'm thankful for that. But I'm more than willing to be a negotiator next time, and to also be a liaison on a monthly basis. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, Clayton Ford.
Thank you. Yes, I am so glad that we are a safe community. Thank you for bringing that up with low crime. We have law enforcement, fire protection, emergency services. We now own our own fire department, and we have a reasonable contract with MCSO. And I think, as it was mentioned earlier, the contract allows us to benefit from the services that MCSO can give us locally, but also take advantage of other services that they have. Like, I think I heard the helicopter mentioned. We can't have our own helicopter, or we wouldn't. But we can take advantage of those resources that they give us as part of that contract. So it kind of can scale as we need them, and the resources can go other places as they need them. I would trust MCSO to kind of scale their staff appropriately. We have the lowest per capita cost for them. I think it was around $6 million. And as far as I know, a lot of the issues that we had were part of that contract. So I was very pleased with that. But when it comes to public safety, I think we've also done a few great things. I've seen new crosswalks going up that are illuminated, so if you want to walk across the street, walk your dog to the dog park, you can hit that button, the lights will come on, and you can walk across the street. And I know that there's more in the plan. I love seeing that. I'm a walker. I also like to ride my bike, so those things are important to me. I still have time. And I think just regular maintenance and upgrades. We need to make sure that that part of our infrastructure is always at the forefront, just to make sure that it's safe for everyone. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next is Henry Mill.
A lot of what I'm going to say has been issued and stated already. We have a wonderfully safe town. What we have with the NCSO is working, and there's questions maybe about the financeability of it. Well, that's where you negotiate contracts. If we feel it's inappropriate, then let's work on that, and let's come to an agreement that benefits us all. I remember when we went from having our own police force to incorporating the use of the sheriff's department because having our own police force was too expensive. Times have changed, I guess. Our fire department is now incorporated into our own town, and we're grateful for that. What we have works. Can we make it better by negotiating it? I agree with Rick that there's no need to disparage the sheriff's department. They do a great job. But can we put ourselves in a better position by negotiating future contracts? Sure. Why not? We should. Let's see if we can't lower our costs and maintain the coverage we have. But I don't think we have a real problem with MCSO as it sits right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Gail Earl.
I do think we need to prioritize the contract in monitoring the contract with the MCSO to make sure we are getting what we're paying for, because for several years we weren't. And it has doubled from $3 million in 2019 to $6.1 million this year. And unfortunately, which someone else had mentioned, but I was really shocked to find out that Rio Verde, Tonto Verde, and Goldfield do not pay for their own police department. We do. In our sheriff department, we pay for that. When before, we did have extra coverage to cover that, but we don't now. And I, listening to Larry Kratzer, our Officer Kratzer, that said we will in the near future need more deputies due to, he's saying, the illegal trafficking coming over the border. So we will need that soon. And there are things start small theft break-ins. We did have an $80,000 armed robbery at Fry's and shooting at Bruno's. But I do appreciate that we do have such a safe town, and I want to keep it a safe town. Just because it's one of the safest is wonderful, that's great, but we want to prevent versus being reactive. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Art Tolis.
Thank you. So I was previously on the council. I was in the executive session meetings. I have been in these negotiations, and one of the costs that are associated with this MCSO contract that has been projected for years is their pensions and their benefits, and what actually is going to continue to go up, and it's going to continue to go up. So that's something that is not going to be negotiated per se. We have a great relationship with MCSO. The captain, I met with him 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to him. They come every 2 weeks. They come to the council meetings. They update the council regularly. There's a lot that goes on in Fountain Hills that people don't hear about. There's a lot of activity in Fountain Hills that people don't even know about. And so we do have a great, safe community. We need to reestablish a town posse. We need to start to transition into a volunteer posse that can help with event coordination and help to offset the costs for businesses to have events that they may need security and personnel. So it helps benefit the community and businesses and events and things of that nature, but it also starts the transition so that if we do ultimately move forward to have our own police force as we continue to grow, which one of the issues with the police force is the dispatch. These are discussions that we've had for years in regards to how do we do it. Queen Creek did it, so there's a model out there. Their community is growing exponentially compared to ours, but it's going to start with volunteerism.